So I had an apprentice that used to work for me. He used to run my cube, Ben. He was an Australian guy, super nice guy, Ben. If you see this, Ben, still like, yeah. And I supplied the tools on his truck. So I saw those on the truck, thought of Ben. I think, oh, this is gonna be funny. If I gotta supply him tools, he's gonna use pink tools. So I bought him those screwdrivers. Now, since then, I've kind of almost taken a liking to them because they're so different than every other color. And whenever I see them on the truck, I buy them. Hi, I'm Keith, and I'm gonna give you a bit of a toolbox tour.
Big announcement. We have our Freedom Sale, AKA the 4th of July sale going on at FortisHD.com. It is on now. Use code FIRE20 for 20% off most tools. So get them while supplies last. Now, on to the video.
I got this model because I'm Dutch and I'm a little bit cheap. It was one of those things that I looked for a long time for a used box, but everybody that has a used Snap-on box think that they can get the price of new for the Snap-on box because they overpaid with their Snap-on dealer. So they think their used price is what I can get a brand new one for. So I went from this Kirkland box, which did the job in the shop for the apprentices and for me when I was in here a little bit. Had to move up to a box that was bigger. I know a lot of you Snap-on guys know the exact model, sizes, everything else. I call this a triple bank. I think it's a classic series. It's one step up from the Heritage series, so it would be the second step up in the Snap-on world. It's the widest classic series that they make. It's not the biggest. Then there's one more that's bigger than this that has a third drawer that's full length here. I did not want a top box because what I was after is I've got these tables, they're just wooden tables, but I've got these tables and when I'm working on them and I'm pulling something apart, you tend to start putting your tools down and now I'm crammed for space. I do have bigger tables too, but then you get crammed for space or the oil is kind of running on the table and now your tools are sitting in the oil. So I wanted a box that had a top on it and I put the rubber on the stainless just because that's what I have right now. That I could put my tools on clean. And then I could keep my table beside me and just, if that gets oily, messy, or dirty or anything. So that's why it's only a chest and not a top box. I didn't want a tall box because I wanted the space on top. You know, we'll just kind of go through the drawers, ratchets, extensions, sockets, you know, it's kind of one of those things, the toolbox is only a couple of weeks old, so I'm still trying to figure out exactly where I want everything because I'm used to just being in a service truck. Some of these drawers are almost empty. This is kind of a bit of a miscellaneous drawer. Didn't know really what to throw in here yet. Half these drawers we're gonna open. I don't know if they're empty or if there's something in them. This drawer, yeah, okay, so crescent wrenches. I don't use crescent wrenches very often. I'm a fan of use the right tool for the right job, and crescent wrenches like to strip stuff, so don't use them very often. I don't spend a lot of money on them. Hammers, they're not all in here. They're spread out through the shop as well, but hammer drawer. Thought that was a crack, not a crack. This one is kind of my junk drawer, my miscellaneous small stuff, knives, you know, the quick throw it in there, keep it in there. Electrical tools, testing equipment, thermoscan guns, test lights, multimeter, that kind of stuff.
Do you like to use like Fluke or do you just like Snap-on?
To be honest with you, never used Fluke. I do have a Snap-on multimeter. That's what this one is. Am I a fan of it? I don't know. I've used cheaper brands. I don't do a lot with multimeters. I do continuity tests, I do voltage tests, maybe test some diodes, stuff like that. So really any brand would work for what I do. If you really get into electronics, like one of my guys, he does a lot more electronics than I do. So I don't know what brand he has. Lately I've been looking at one of the Fluke models, don't know the models. It has a detachable screen on it, and that's what I love, because when you're working in the field by yourself or even in the shop and you need to test the voltage here when you hit the start key, I can't hit the start key and see the voltage with the Snap-on one that I have. Maybe Snap-on has one that has a removable screen, I don't know. But I'm really looking at that Fluke one so that I can bring the screen into the cab with me, turn the key and see if I've got power while the multimeter's back there. So I'm kind of interested in that one. The thermal gun I bought just because we were looking for a hydraulic issue in a valve bank and I didn't know where it was. So I picked it up to see it. I know there's other brands out there and I'm sure the other brands work just as good. It's just that I have a good relationship with my Snap-on dealer. I needed one on the spot. He had one, I grabbed it, and I got the job done. Not saying that Snap-on is the best brand for that at all. I know there's lots of Snap-on tools. There's other brands that are much better. I don't know, I have nothing else to compare it to. So just a generic, you know, nothing special brand. I don't need the big one. You know, I don't do a lot of electrical work. This one works just fine for me. I think I used 3 settings on it and that's it. And I got to keep pushing the range button because I don't want it to auto range. So probably a cheaper one would actually work better for me. I'm just a bit more old school than all you younger guys that are much more into electronics than I am. So we got a small plier set of pink here, and I'm putting them in this toolbox just kind of for the chuckle. Plier drawer, again, a mixed batch of everything. Slowly, as I buy tools for this toolbox, I am buying Snap-on, I am replacing with Snap-on, but I use what's in it for now.
Because this toolbox is primarily empty, right?
In a sense, for how much tools should be in a box, yeah. As I fill it, it'll probably be Snap-on. Again, not saying that Snap-on is the best out there. I like it, I have a good relationship with my rep. He treats me good, gives me lots of collectibles, so it keeps me going. And again, as I replace everything or I change tools, I do buy Snap-on. There is tools out there, like set of needle nose pliers here. They're recently available by Snap-on, and I was looking for a set like this for a while for one specific thing we do on Bobcats. It's an adjustable pair of pliers. The Snap-on guys know, hey, you can pick up a penny or a nickel off the ground with it, all that kind of stuff. I don't think there's any other brand, but again, I don't research tools. I'm not the tool guy to go, this brand does this brand does that. I do love these for needle nose pliers though. I haven't found anything yet that compares to them. But as far as side cutters, I like the Nipex. The reason I like the Nipex way more than the Snap-on is the way the Snap-on are designed. They come straight up, the handles, the way they overlap. They overlap each other all the way till about here, then they spread out and become a handle. So you have to use the handle from back here to cut stuff. Now with the Nipex, I can have my hands all the way up here to do little stuff that doesn't need a lot of pressure with the long handles. So I prefer the Nipex longer side cutters over the Snap-on all day. So Nipex is a great brand. They make a set of channel locks, which I don't have in here. Some of my guys, they have them on their trucks. I have them on my truck. They make a set of channel locks that are really, really fine tooth. So if you were to compare this is just a channel lock brand. There's a big gap between every channel. The Nipex ones, a very fine gap between each channel, and you don't have to open them to clip them. There's a little button, you just push it, slide it to where you want, and it's there. So they're great. But again, channel locks, they're cheap. I don't use a lot of channel locks. They do the job when I need them, so I haven't replaced them with the Snap-on stuff yet. These pliers, they're kind of neat. They undo the spring clamps on rad hoses, heater hoses, that sort of stuff, fuel lines. If you work on Bobcats and skid steers in tight places, you can't beat a pair of pliers like this. Not specifically these ones, but like this.
You work with mainly Bobcat. Is it your main kind of?
I work on all heavy equipment, but slowly over the years, the more customers that find out that I work on Bobcats, I do a lot more work on Bobcats. So I would say close to 50% of my work is probably Bobcat brand specific now. There's a lot of them out there, and everybody that has a Bobcat likes the Bobcats that they have. You know, I'm not a fan of the newer Bobcats, but I do a lot of work on a lot of Bobcats. You know, excavators, skid steers, all of them. We don't have a lot of loaders or telehandlers or the kind of the backhoe tractors up here in southwest Canada. You see that a lot more down different regions of the USA. But the stuff that we have up here, I do a lot of work on. And I get right into everything from rebuilding pumps to rebuilding drives. That's a torn apart Bobcat drive right there. And I'm not scared of any of it. Screwdrivers, some cheapo ones that I like to dig out dirt with and stuff like that. And then some Snap-on stuff. A little bit of a mix of both. You know the funny story about these? So I had an apprentice that used to work for me. He used to run my cube bin. He was an Australian guy, super nice guy, Ben. If you see this, Ben, still like you. And I supplied the tools on his truck. So we always kind of had a little bit of a jab at him. His girlfriend was an old neighbor of mine. That's how I met him. So whenever I went on the Snap-on truck, they'd have a breast cancer awareness month and they'd bring out pink tools. So I saw those on the truck, thought of Ben. I think, oh, this is gonna be funny. If I get to supply him tools, he's gonna use pink tools. So I bought him those screwdrivers. Now, since then, I've kind of almost taken a liking to them because they're so different than every other color. And whenever I see them on the truck, I buy them. Pry bars, again, saw some pink ones, picked up a pink set to kind of go along with the theme. Some cheap stuff. This pry bar, it's a Westward pry bar, nothing special. It just, I always have one. When I graduated high school and I went to my pre-app course, my pre-app course had a list of tools you're supposed to buy to go to school with. Nowadays, most schools have their own tools. You get little tool tags and they supply them. But back then, you had to supply your own basic hand tools, wrenches, couple pry bars, a hammer, some sockets, ratchets, stuff like that. So my grandfather that's passed away now, he was a ship's engineer, a union ship guy on big ships, traveled the world on ships, and he bought my first set of tools. Now, obviously, over the years, everybody knows you lose wrenches, you lose sockets, you lose this, you lose that. This is the pry bar that he bought me over 20 years ago. So it kind of means something to me. I've got other ones on my service trucks and stuff, but this is probably the most important tool to me in this entire box, including the box, just because of where it came from. So, and I use it all the time. As you can see, it's a little bit bent. I do use it all the time. It's probably my go-to pry bar for a heel bar and for, I don't know what the heck you want to call it. You guys are all gonna make fun of me, but the pointy end. To line up, the alignment end, to line up pinholes, stuff like that. So it's a great one, and it's tough as nails. It's a Westward one. I have on my service truck the adjustable heel bars from Snap-on. I've had the adjustable heel bars from Gear Wrench. The Gear Wrench ones didn't last all that long, tend to strip them and break them pretty quick. The Snap-on ones were good, but I found that they got fat really quick compared to the Gear Wrench ones, and they didn't actually work for a pry bar as good as the Gear Wrench ones, but they do last longer than the Gear Wrench ones. So, but this is still my go-to pry bar for anything I can use it for. And some of the stuff, okay, we got a partial chisel / punch set. So again, my apprentices like to take my chisels, don't put them back. Every once in a while I gotta go through the whole kit. We got larger wrenches, cheap set of offset wrenches, snap ring pliers. These are Gear Wrench snap ring pliers. I just like the kit that they're in. They're compact. And yeah, so I've got some bigger snap-on wrenches in there. I bought a kit not too long ago from, I don't even know what it was, like 7 mil all the way up to 36 mil or something like that. Got it for a good price, so into the box it goes. And then, they're not all in here, but this is kind of my would-be old school, be your air tool drawer. Now it's all electrical and electronics, so that's where I keep all my electric tools or air tools, because some of them are air. So that's where those ones all go. And again, I'm slowly building up the kit in the shop. I got way more in the service truck, but that's what's in here. So this is the shop box in the shop that probably is gonna get beat up a little bit. I'm not gonna cry about it. That's one of the reasons why I didn't want to buy a massive expensive box. You know, every time one of my apprentices or my father-in-law likes to come in and gets a greasy handprint, don't touch it. I'm not that guy. I don't wipe it down. I'm not gonna wipe it down. You know, I'm not the guy that sits there every Friday squirting it down, cleaning it. Nothing against you guys. Take pride in what you buy, and that's awesome. I just don't have the time. The color is a little bit of a different story. I wanted red. I'm a fan of buying a classic series box. Let's get a classic red box with the stainless trim or aluminum trim, whatever you call it. But you know, I didn't really want to order it in. I'm good friends with my Snap-on dealer. He had this box kicking around the shop, gave me a smoking deal on it because he wanted to move it and get it moved. So he gave me a great price on it. So I was willing to sacrifice the red for I don't even know what gray this is. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what gray this is with the black trim. All right. So I compromised the red. Now, some of you guys might look at this and go, hey, there's a gap here. There is a gap here. So what had happened was he had this box around his place and he had the top not on the box, because you buy the top separate from the box. You can get a Rhino line top, you can get a hutch and you don't need a top, or you get the stainless one like this one. This one's a stainless top. So he had the box sitting there. He had the stainless top separate from it. He just in the middle of moving, and I don't know what happened. He doesn't know what happened, but we brought the box over here, had it here. A couple days later, he brought the stainless top over here. We went to go bolt it on and I said, hey, we had a little bit of a gap problem here. And he goes, well, yeah, we definitely do. So we took a straight edge. We checked if it was the box, because he's seen a box sag before. And we checked the stainless top. It was the stainless top that's got a bit of a warp. So he's just doing a warranty claim right now on the top. So that's one of the reasons why I have the rubber on here, because I don't want to, you know, not that it would matter being warranted. They probably just cut it up anyways. But, you know, they can see that, hey, it hasn't been beat on. It hasn't been on a box really ever, and it's warped. So we're getting the warranted. And you know, as much as the stainless top looks really nice and shiny, I like it better than the Rhino top, or the truck bedliner top, if you want to call it. I had this exact box in red years ago, and I bought it really cheap for my Snap-on guy. It was a brand new box, and I had it at my personal shop, and I kind of outgrew it on my personal shop. And he talked me into an epic triple bank with a power stainless top on it, because the color matched my Mustang. So I traded that one in. He gave me the exact money that I paid for it 2 years after. And so I got that. So now I go, oh, I need the same box for in my shop. And he went, well, I shouldn't have sold that back to him, because I paid another $3,000 on top of that price. I'm not going to tell you what I paid for it, because that's between me and my Snap-on dealer. But it was about the same price as probably what used boxes go for online. I like the rubber, nothing slides on it, nothing moves. I can roll this thing around and nothing's sliding off the side of it. And yeah, so love my box. It's new, it's only a couple weeks old. You know, not looking forward to more bills and filling it more and with better tools, but there's your toolbox tour.
If you have a favorite tool you'd like to showcase in action on the channel, reach out and submit your video to media@fortishd.com. Join us on our journey to tool the next generation.